So NVIDIA has shown up Stellar Blade and what's the name of Lost Soul Aside. These PlayStation games that are Stellar Blade is a shift up game. PlayStation went in to help publish and then did a money hat, basically hamstringing the game because. And I will say this with no, I'm no longer going to be holding back this statement anymore. PlayStation players, just like Xbox players and just like gamers out there, prefer to play live service games, community-based games, and such. But the PlayStation fanboy community had been lying to people that they love to spend money and buy these games and play these games, when in reality, there's only like 30 of them on the internet. So what they say is only representative of a fraction that can't even be detected in any kind of a pool of gamers out there. So here is NVIDIA GeForce basically showing you Stellar Blade with the new technology at about 300 FPS. Those of you who were talking about the PS5 Pro, I want to drag you into this conversation as well too, because I think it's very imperative. I told y'all that you need an intellectual, lashing, because you need to realize something. And yes, there's a side of maybe gloating and all this stuff, but that's not the goal actually. The goal is I want you to see in real time how technology shifts so fast, from under the feet of consoles. While console is still getting its act together, trying to figure out, okay, how are we going to move left and right, the games that you were playing are basically being represented in a light that you will never have imagined or envisioned. I remember when the PS5 Pro version of this game came out, they were saying, oh, the game is running at 80 FPS now. Oh, PS5 Pro. And we were like, bro, you got to relax, man. It's not really that much of a jump. Thankfully, the game got to leverage a little bit of that, but look at what we're seeing here with technologies like multi-frame generation, something that, honestly, yes, I won't tell you I'm a big fan of it because, again, what does the latency look like? I'm all about the latency. Is it going to affect the game? If the latency doesn't affect the game, then, again, you can already see, some really, really cool stuff coming out of this. No problem. Right? But this is really interesting that they are going ham and going crazy showing us these kinds of games. Lost Soul Aside, Kami over here took the same NVIDIA video and is showing Lost Soul Aside as well, playing at 400, almost 500 FPS. I was telling somebody the other day that 500 FPS is actually a thing. And this is not native. This ain't Counter-Strike. This is a third-person game with cameras and, VFX and stuff moving all over and, big worlds and big, I would say dense meshes rendering. So yes, natively to get this at 400, to get 400 FPS of this, you have to overclock and go crazy and pull some power limits that should not be done within a home. But with technologies like these, bro, the PS5 Pro is now irrelevant. I mean, if the PS5 Pro came out with Lost Soul Aside and said, hey man, we're giving you these visuals, and someone is looking at a freaking 50 series and the technology, and saying, what in the world are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, at this point, the current consoles are where PC was like 8 years ago. Yes, the current consoles, in regard to what they're doing with games, are exactly where PC was 8 years ago. PC 8 years ago was all about hitting 60 FPS. As base target, native resolution, no dynamic resolution scaling, or in some cases, some dynamic resolution scaling. That's what PC was using for most of its games. But now, that's like all gone. Now we're using upscaling, RT, frame gen, things that are just not even within the scope of what the consoles can. Man, this thing hit 500 FPS. Crap! I just looked at it. Right? And here's the crazy thing. This is NVIDIA's technology. This is not even AMD's technology. And you cannot leverage it on any of the consoles. Even going forward into the next generation right now, AMD has already locked down the contracts, from what we've heard, to make the consoles for PlayStation and Xbox. So the only way you can actually take a look at this or even experience this if you wanted to, if you're an enthusiast, and this is why I looked and said, people keep saying that the PS5 Pro was for enthusiasts. I'm like, I don't think so. I think it was just a lot of hype more than anything else. Enthusiasts will probably be looking over here and the 50 series. Now, stock is trash, but again, money is still sitting on the table. And people are going to be waiting for these 50 series cards or 90-100 cards from AMD to go back to MSRP. Don't worry, they're going to be begging you by 4th of July to buy one. If not, they'll be begging you by freaking, Thanksgiving and Black Friday. If not, they'll be begging you by Christmas to buy one. It's all right. It's all right. There's no rush when it comes down to it. So, where would you find the best experience for a lot of these PlayStation games? I don't think it's on the PlayStation, nor is it on the PlayStation 5 Pro. People say things like that. The best place to play this game on console is on the PS5 Pro. But the best place to actually play these games is on PC. The reason they'll say that at the console qualifier, after they've already gone to mouth that the consoles are matching up to PC in performance, is because they want the convenience of being able to slip in and out of that conversation. But that's not here. That's not possible. And I said this in my previous videos when I was talking about the PS5 Pro. I said, guys, this PS5 Pro that everybody is touting and all this stuff is going to be buried alive when the technology starts to show what, is really out there in terms of PC, in terms of dedicated graphics cards. So whatever they've locked down in place to manufacture any of the consoles for next generation is already old school. Can you think about that? Then think about when production goes into place. Think about when, they finally start getting, units available and in stock, and then they start doing marketing. How many leaps would have been taken by the PC generation at that point in time? And how cheap will today's current best-in-class PC components, which are already better than whatever they will lock down that console for $500 or $600, would be? Let me explain in a little bit more detail. For instance, the 7800X 3D right now has finally jumped down to about $400. The 9800X 3D came in, pushed the price down from about $600 to $500, and now you have the 9950X 3D and the others that are coming out. These CPUs are eventually going to go down to the $200 mark. If your CPU of that nature is in the $200 mark, you're looking at a gaming PC build that will be better than the next console for around $850 today. Does it make sense? If you want to do a $600 build, if you want to do a $650 build, your CPU has to be about $100 to be able to get a GPU that matches it. Add $100 to that for a $200 CPU, you've moved into the $800, $900 category, maybe, to get a GPU that will leverage it. So already today's PC technology is already blazed past what console can dream of. Talk to me in the comment section. Peace out.